Hi, my name is Raheem Nelson, and with this video I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to talk about working with clients, whether it's an individual or a business, and just being an artist and having to deal with that. So as an artist, I would love to just sit back and not have to deal with clients sometimes, but it is necessary unless you have an agent that's going to be willing to do that for you. So for me, I kind of had to learn. It was a trial by fire, and I just wanted to go over some things that I picked up along the way. So for starters, I think being clear is really important. You want to make sure you're clear with whoever you're dealing with, whether it's an individual or as a business. You want to make sure that their needs are being met, so it helps to ask multiple questions, whether it's through email or phone conference or Skype. You want to kind of just hear what they want you to do. If you think you can do it, speak up. If you don't, you either learn the skills necessary to do the job, or you might recommend another friend that you think can handle the job. And so definitely want to go over this first. You need to get a deposit for whatever kind of work you're doing. It's extremely important. You don't want to be in a situation where you're doing work for somebody and they either don't pay you or they take forever to pay you. So getting that deposit is going to make sure you get either, you can be 50% upfront, for instance, and I try to just do all my invoices through Square, so it goes right into my account, because I've been in instances where I've had to wait on a check, or I didn't invoice somebody quickly enough, or I didn't even get a deposit when I was first starting out, and then you end up suffering in the long run. Okay, so now I want to talk about dealing with individuals versus dealing with a business. When you're dealing with an individual, you've got that direct point of contact. You can get all the information you need from them. You can build a rapport with them, whether it's somebody's commissioning you like a friend or a family member. It becomes a lot easier and a lot more clear too. If you're dealing with a business, you may have to deal with a team of people, and it helps to make sure everybody's on board. If you're dealing with a phone conference call, for instance, you want to make sure all parties are involved. You want to make sure they're on the same page with you and vice versa. And for email, people may have to be CC'd in, and you might be talking to 4 or 5 people on doing an illustration or a portrait or something, and you want to make sure that everybody's in agreement. You don't really want to be getting multiple opinions and nothing's really adding up. So what I try to do is just get everybody to a point where we can agree on one aspect of the artwork, whatever it is, so that it kind of minimizes revisions at the end of the day, because you don't really want that. So another thing I want to talk about is free work or working for exposure. This comes up a lot in the art field, I think, basically for photography, illustration, painting, you name it. And you get some people that like your work, but they may not be able to afford it or invest in it for some reason, and they might be able to offer you exposure instead. And that's something I try not to do too often. I think unless you're dealing with a client that's big time and they can definitely offer you something, then go for it. But a lot of times I find people just use that as an excuse to get your services, and then you end up being messed up later. So that's something you really want to be careful about. For instance, when it comes to sketch artists or illustrators, digital or traditional, a lot of people will ask you to do a sketch for them just so they can see their idea fleshed out. And I think that's kind of a trap. Some people just do that to get you to start working on it, and then if they don't like it, they can say no and not really commit to it, which is why you want to get that deposit. And you also want to make sure you have a nice body of work that shows you can do the style on your website or Facebook or something that you can direct the client to. And if you feel like the client is serious and they're going to be able to help you, then by all means, do that work for exposure. But if you feel like it's somebody that might be trying to get over on you, then you want to be really careful with that, because you have talent, you should be paid for your work, and that's the way it should be. So the last piece of information is to always be professional throughout the process. You don't want to have something happen, say something happens where you're not paid, or you're not paid as quickly as you'd like, or a client is doing something that is irritating you for some reason, you have a disagreement. You don't really want to get on social media and start blasting them, because it may get back to them, and it could prevent you from getting work in the future. And it also goes for a correspondence with them through email or the phone. You just want to remain calm You know, you don't want tempers to flare or anything, because at the end of the day, it is business. You know, it's nothing you should take personally. And they want the product. You know, you want to give them the product, you want to be paid for it, and you want to make sure that it comes out the best that it can at the end of the day. So I'll do it for my freelancers tips video. I hope this helps a lot of you guys out with just dealing with clients. I know it takes a lot of work, but at the end of the day, I think it's worth it. So if you like the video, please comment, like, and subscribe, and be sure to check out my website at raheemnelson.com.